before that, she was my sugar mama, so she made all the money. That's why I was able to be an FO with Mesa. I was over at Mesa for a while. So I'm living the whole commute to reserve life as an FO, but it was wonderful. But I mean, like the 121 world, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's so much easier than Part 135. I mean, everything's pretty much done for you. You just show up at the gate and they'll give you, your 80-page packet worth of stuff. 60 pages of that are just random en route notams that no one ever looks at. Just sign your first page and off you go. The flight plan's all, flight plan's done for you. Everything's done for you. And then you go, man. It's like I said, the hardest part was just the getting to work. The commute to reserve. Living in Phoenix and being based out in Dallas, it was very difficult to try to get in there. If you want to commute the day of, sometimes you have to commute in the night. The night before, and then let's say at the end of your 4-day, you'll get in late, so you can't commute back to Phoenix that day. So you got to stay another night. And if you're not, they expect you to. If you're in your base, say in Dallas, even though I don't live in Dallas, they won't buy you a hotel. So now you gotta spend your own money to get a hotel for those other couple nights, or get like a crash pad or something, But problem with it, I mean, even as as an FO with the regionals, you're making like $34,000 a year, so it's like $1,100 a paycheck, So say you got a crash pad, and crash pads in the Dallas area when I was there were going from in between $300 to $500. Like it's a lot of money out of one of your paychecks, if you. Yeah, so we had a good deal over at the Red Roof Inn out there in DFW. That's where all the Mesa guys always stayed at, and so you get real cheap rates there. But like I said, the flying was fun. Yeah, I was flying the CRJ 900 there, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really fun plane. Yeah, as long as you're not on the 200, the 200 is just old. Yeah, but the 700 and 900, those are really solid airplanes. I enjoyed it. You could, the only problem is, especially at Mesa in the summertime, we're running those things all the time. So you just walk in, it's just a sea of orange MEL stickers all over the dash. So every time you go in, it's like, oh, well, we'll look at the 10, like, oh, yeah, what MELs do we have here? It's just lists all over them, So you just get used to it, But like I said, the crews were fun. I love the crews at Mesa. We had a great group of pilots and flight attendants there. Then I ended up leaving that job. It was after my wife had our firstborn. Before that, she was my sugar mama. So she made all the money. That's why I was able to be an FO with Mesa. Then after our first son was born, she looked at me. She's like, "I'm not going back to work." I was like, "Well, But I was like, we're going to lose the house." So I left Mesa, and then went to go. I was flying a Falcon for a few years after that. And I loved it. That Falcon was such a nice plane. I think my old company. I think in our prime, we were running, I think, 20-something Falcon 2000s. Had like 3 Gulfstreams G4s. We had a pretty nice fleet, and then we bought them all from NetJets. When NetJets moved away from the Falcon 2000s and started buying our Latitudes, I think it was. Our company bought a bulk of the NetJets airplanes, and so we were running. I mean, they were old-time airframes, or high-time airframes, but they were great, though. I mean, we had some issues with them, like you would normally, but nothing crazy, nothing, insane or anything like that. I remember one time we had a hand fly it from Opelika down in Miami up to Delaware, where the company was based out of. That was that. I mean, it was fine, but it was just tiring. It was like 10 o'clock at night or something to depart out of Opelika. The owner was in the back with a couple of guys that were looking at investing some money in the company. And so like the flight was going to go. You know? So we took off out of Opelika. You know, I'm flying. My buddy Evan's sitting in the right seat. You know, and so we're like, all right, autopilot on. Nothing. It's like, all right, autopilot on. Try it again. Nothing. I'm like, well, shit. Like, all right. So you know, we stayed on the departure, and then you know, and it was in the summertime in Florida. You know, so I mean, you know, like the weather was just shit. Yeah. So so I'm sitting there hand flying it and running radios while you know Evan's trying to we're trying to figure something out like to how to turn on. Maybe you know we're looking at the different circuit breakers or something. Maybe you know we can reset something. You know, so there's not an exact checklist for autopilot fail. You know, like it's an inconvenience. It's not really an emergency. Yeah, so we were trying everything. We had the Wi-Fi on, so we were chatting with the chief pilot and DO and stuff, and none of us could figure out what to do. And so Evan called up the owner and had him come up front and let him know the situation. He's like, so what are you guys going to do? And I said, well, you know, I mean, luckily we tankered fuel. And I said, well, we'll just fly back to Delaware at 27,000 feet then. You know, and so I was like, all right, fine. And then sure enough, you know, once we were getting to like North Florida, you know, like the Florida-Georgia border, especially in the summertime, it gets nasty out there. Those storms get huge. And so it's in the middle of the night, you know, we're running the radar and stuff, and we're both taking turns hand flying it. And sure enough, we start seeing it, and man, we just start getting rocked. Trying to weave our way, like pick our way through this. And it was getting pretty intense, you know. So I looked over at Evan and I said, you know what, dude, f it. Let's climb to 45. He's like, all right, fine. So we spun it up to 45, and then you know, luckily, you know, so we climbed all the way up there, and then we spent. You know, when you're hand flying at those altitudes, you know, it's very minute is what you need. You know, we couldn't go to RVSM airspace because we didn't have autopilot, so we just said, all right, you know, so we'll just climb above RVSM airspace and we'll fly it that way. And then so you just took like say every 10-15 minutes, you know, we just switch off who's flying, and then you know, luckily once you get it all trimmed out. You know, I mean, you basically just have to hold your hand there. You know, if you think about moving it, that's pretty much all you need to maintain, you know, what you have to. And so that's what we did. The whole we just climbed up to 45 and just flew all the way back. And of course, weather was crap in Delaware, you know, so we had to shoot the ILS down to minimums, all hand flown in, go in there. Then we landed, you know, then the owner, you know, he starts joking about it when not everyone leaves. It's like, yeah, too bad you don't got a maintenance guys to fix these planes correctly, you know. I just started laughing, you know. It was like I said, it was an uneventful flight. We couldn't figure out what happened with the autopilot, you know. Then the very next day, we took it out for a test flight. Autopilot worked. Just one of those like little gremlin things. Just that night, it just didn't feel like you know, the yaw didn't work, but the autopilot didn't, you know. So yeah, just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know, but that was the only issue I really had in those Falcons. You know, I mean, every once in a while we'd have some other situations and stuff like that, but it was nothing. Yeah, luckily the Falcon, you know, if you have a problem with it, you just shut everything down. It's like the Honda, you know, you just do a hard restart, shut everything down, turn the APU off, turn everything back on, and it'll usually fix the problem. It was a fun place, you know. Like I said, I was there for 2.5 years, something like that, you know. And then when the whole Corona hit, that's when I got furloughed from there. Spent few months unemployed, and then got picked up flying the Lear and the Honda. The Lear initially, and then 6 months later, they moved me over to the Honda as well.
Hey gang, here from Hangar Talk. Thank you so much for plugging into the channel, liking, subscribing. We appreciate all you continuous subscribers, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.